yeah, uh, you already know what I'm gonna say.
It's fantastic.
In all seriousness, I thought Fantastic Four First Steps was a great time in cinemas. And I don't want to be the guy to say Marvel is back, especially with the next couple movies and their issues of not having a fucking writer apparently, but this movie specifically is something amazing to me. And I thought it was very, very good. It had a bit of action, which was nice. It had the CGI looked pretty good, if not, to me personally, off it sometimes, but that's probably just a me thing with certain characters, and I think the trailers revealed too much of it, because I've looked back on some of the trailers, and after seeing them, after watching the movie, I'm glad I went in blind, because this was a much better experience, blind, without all the trailers, basically giving away the whole movie. Thought all the characters equally had their time to shine, especially at the end, and I thought it was just pretty neat, you know? And I'll get into more a lot of my bigger thoughts, but I feel like you can go into this and expect just a nice little thing. Maybe it's not perfect, but you know, you'll get something out of it. You'll get something decent out of it, and I feel like most people will have a good time, you know? And hey, it's got my goat Pedro Pascal, so you better see it. But yeah, all in all, in short, spoiler 3, because I feel like a lot of my thoughts are very spoilerful, I thought Fantastic Four First Steps was a solid 8 out of 10. Around the same as my review for Superman, but for very different reasons. There was just some things to me that felt off, and I don't know if even I can explain them, but I don't know if they're like an everybody thing. They feel off. And again, this is right out of the cinema. Maybe if I like bathe in it for a few days, I'll understand a bit more. But some things just felt a little odd to me. But overall, a very, very good time. Spoiler-free thoughts out of the way. Let's get into the juicy spoiler thoughts. If you don't want to hear spoilers for this movie, because I feel like it hasn't even come out yet in most places, please click away from the video right now. We spoiler 3? Spoilers in 3, 2, 1, Doctor Doom. We kind of expected this as the first post-credit scene, and it kind of took me out of it a bit. And I just think the funniest part, is that everyone was saying, oh no no no, Robert Downey Jr., he'll wear the mask the whole time. He's a real actor. First time we fucking see him in his post-credit scene, Doctor Doom already has the mask off talking to Franklin. Are we fucking for real right now? Not even 1 second into the movie, he already has it off, bro! What are you doing? Oh my god, it's just stupid. Just took me out of the movie, man. The second one, you're not gonna get anything out of it if you only care for hype bait for the next movie, but I thought if that was the only post-credit scene, because it was just like a little 90s cartoon intro, like a 70s cartoon intro for this Fantastic Four. And I liked it, I thought it was really cute. It reminded me of the old 90s one, but maybe a bit dumbed down. And I thought it was really, really cute. Yes, speaking of really cute, because I want to move as far away as Doctor Doom as possible, man. Speaking of really cute, Jack Kirby references. Of course, we have a lot of Yancey Street, hear a bit about that from The Thing, but of course, before the final post-credit scene, they have a quote from Jack Kirby commemorating him. And also, I think, in the first appearance of Shayla Ball, you go into the apartment of a man, and he has artwork all around him as he looks out the window. And the artwork looks eerily similar to from other works from Jack Kirby. And I just think, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Because, man, it just feels good. He's finally getting commemorated for the godly amount of work he put into the comic book industry. And I'd say, arguably, the Fantastic Four is a bit more him than it ever was Stan. Because, I mean, come on, that team is him. The Thing is him. Yancey Street is him. That's why they renamed the literal street it was based off to Yancey Street for the marketing of this movie. Kinda cute, kind of erasing history. I don't know how much I've dig with it. You get used to things. But yes, Jack Kirby was referenced a lot throughout this movie, which I thought was really, really, really great. Because the guy needs some commemorations. And of course, in this movie, Fantastic Four First Steps, everyone really feels like a family in this, you know? The way Reed talks to Johnny is different from how he talks to Thing and Susan. And just everyone talks to each other so differently and so lovingly. Like, Johnny can be an asshole sometimes, like a little bit, to Reed. They're gonna be like, I take back all the bad things I said about you privately, but you know that comes from a place of love. He's just a little bit of a arrogant asshole. He's a doofus. He's a dick. But he's a lovable dick, because I love him. Yeah. I really enjoyed just all of them. And I gotta be honest, I love how they treated everyone in the team as they are. Very smart people, you know? Ben Grimm is the pilot for their spaceship when they go out into space and, you know, for the first time, and when they're going to see Galactus in his ship, Ben Grimm's flying. Johnny Storm fucking decodes an entire alien language of Shayla Ball to try and get her to turn side. And I'll get into that later, but he's a, like, stunningly smart person. And the movie goes to an effort to give everyone their moments. Reed and Sue Storm, very obvious. Sue Storm is very politically smart. She creates the Future Foundation. She helps Mole the Man, played by the guy we all thought he was going to be played by the way, just to let you know. She connects his Subterra to the fucking outer world, or whatever he calls it. She literally builds political differences, and the Future Foundation is basically just the UN, United Nations. And also, funny visual gag of when they were going through different names in the UN or the Future Foundation. It gets to Latveria, and Doctor Doom's just not there. Because I mean, you know it's meant to be him, but like, he's just there. I thought that was a cute little detail, and I hope they kept his references at that. But no, they didn't. And yeah, no, everyone was just really smart, and I kind of like that, because aside from being the, you know, Marvel's first family, they're all very smart scientists and explorers. And what they do is that they use science and they explore. I mean, one of the first, I don't know if it's the first or not, but a chase scene between them and, you know, Shayla Ball is literally in a black hole. And they use that and their intelligence and their powers to fucking trick her into going into a black hole, and then using the black hole and its gravitational pull to slingshot them away. It's just, they're all very smart. They're all very keen. I like that. They feel like a family. It feels real to me. And I could talk about this and them for ages, but I feel like I want to move on. I don't necessarily have much to say about Johnny and Sue specifically, maybe? So I'll cover them both here because they're both brother and sister. Johnny, when, like, going into this movie, the actor, I'm blanking on his name right now, but the actor was more saying something like, oh, he isn't going to be as much of a womanizer. Which was a total lie, because he absolutely was, except he was only trying to get with one woman, Shayla Ball, Silver Surfer. Who the fuck can blame him? I mean, damn. Witness me. If you get that, that is very funny. I swear. But yeah, he cares about her. He wants to build a relationship with her, and also uses his, I guess, want to learn more about her and his curiosity about her to genuinely help the team and get into her emotions. He's not like a Like, sure, he calls her sexy and stuff, which is like, the blatant womanizing, but he's also an empathizer. He empathizes with her and her emotions. I like that. And speaking of empathy, Sue Storm, really the heart of the team, brings everyone together. She is soft spoken, but also stern. She kind of orders everyone around, but not really making her seem like the leader, because that's kind of Reed. But she kind of brings everything together in a loving and caring way. She is a very loving and kind person, but that also doesn't stop her from getting mad. She gets reasonably angry in this film multiple times. She lashes out because her world and her family are on the line. And in that final fight scene, when she has to protect her baby, she arguably does more against Galactus in that fight than anyone else on the team. And I think that's just kind of an important thing to show that she is a lot more than just your average, heart. She is strong. She is, capable on her own. And I really enjoyed that. What I didn't enjoy, a couple things with Ben Grimm. One, it's clobbering time, because when he actually say it, he's not punching someone, he just fucking flies into Galactus's head. And, I wanted to see him say it with punching. Like, I thought we were done with comic book characters being afraid of, their comic book things. I thought we were done with that, you know? That caused Galactus to be a cloud, and now Ben Grimm can't say it's clobbering time with its full heart. Come on, man. That's my boy. Also, from what I remember, he has a love interest in this. But I'm pretty sure he says her name is Masters, like Alicia Masters. I'm pretty sure that's her name, but it's usual love interest in the comics. From what I remember in the comics, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, and this is also in the movies, Alicia Masters is meant to be blind. And in a way, when she feels him and sees he's a monster, she doesn't necessarily care, because it's meant to be she doesn't care about his outside, she cares about the inside, and if the inside accompanies the outside, then it's beautiful to her. Everything's meant to be beautiful to her. Very big part of that original storyline. But I don't think she's blind in this. She's a school teacher, and I don't think she's blind. And could be me. Maybe I would have liked her to be. Though I get it, different universe, they can do whatever they want, but I just think, Marvel's all for representation and such, but when they have easy ways to represent a community, they kind of just get rid of it. And even if in the movie it wasn't Alicia Masters, because they may have blanked her name when thinking of how cool Galactus was, why not make it her? She's the Ben Grimm person. Why not have her in the movie as, just someone to be there? And yeah, maybe that, peeved me off a little bit. And not really peeved, more just like irritated me a little, those two things about him. Other than that, he seems like, well, of course, this is, I think, 4 years into their thing. He's gotten very used to being the thing. He's taken it with pride now. He's not ashamed of who he is. He's happy. And you know what? I don't mind that, because I feel like the more emotional drama was given to, Reed and Sue rather than him, which would have been an obvious option. But then I feel like they'd have to balance more than they already needed to, and him just being a lovable side uncle who does his own stuff and gets a beard because Johnny says it might look good on him. That's fine by me. I enjoy that. But just please embrace the comic books. That's just a little bit more, man. And when we see him in Avengers Goons Day. Just have him say it's clobbering time, man. I think I've been rooting for it, or whatever. And next off, before I get into Reed, uh, yeah, apparently John Malkovich was meant to be in this, and he was in the trailer, and they reference him in the movie at the beginning with his fucking monkeys, and they show him in that little trailer thing at the second post-credit scene that I was talking about. He's just not here. And on one hand, you could say this is a bad thing. On the other hand, I feel like if he was in it, he'd just be in the opening montage again. But, I don't really mind he's not in this. He kind of... Maybe I'm not imaginative enough to see where he would have fit into everything. But I think... I kind of like what they had already. I like... Yeah, I really fucking like what they just had. I don't think they needed to have him in there. I'm only saying this because there was a little bit of controversy or something around him apparently being cut. But yeah. Yeah. Also, yeah, bro. Spoilers for Squid Games is what I'm about to reference here. But, yeah, they have the fucking Squid Game CGI baby. Let's go! Yeah, Franklin's like a baby for all of this, except for the post-credit scene where Doctor Doom comes, and he's like 4 years old. 4? They do that a lot. They say 4 a lot. So, yeah, get ready for that. Yeah, no, he's just a baby the whole time, and he's just actively not showing his powers until at the end, where Sue low-key dies, and then he's just being a cosmic being and brings her back to life. That's fair. That's decent. Because the main... It's... He's a MacGuffin for Galactus. Franklin is a MacGuffin, and the Earth is trying to protect itself from being destroyed in search of this MacGuffin. That is my basic plot for this movie. And I think they make it pretty clear at the start that he is some celestial creation, because at the start, Reed and Sue, they're like, oh, we've been trying for years, and now he comes? And turns out he's only coming not from them trying to have a baby, but because the universe ordered for another Galactus. I don't mind it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that plot change. Mr. Fantastic. One, his stretching was okay. I liked it. I liked all their powers. I think they all looked really, really good. Stretching was pretty good. He stretched a little there, stretched a little here. Very stretchy boy. And I don't mind Pedro Pascal. I don't think I've minded Pedro Pascal being Mr. Fantastic since he was casted. Because I kind of was just confident that he could do it. And what do you know? He did it. He did it. Yeah. I don't know what else people were expecting. And I kind of love Reed's own, personal doubts in this movie. Because it's very much his movie. His and Sue's movie, though I have a lot more to say about him, because I like Mr. Fantastic a bit more than Sue, in general. He's my favorite of the Fantastic Four. Mainly because he was in the first level of, the second level of LEGO Marvel Superheroes. And that's basically this movie, kind of. Galactus. That was basically a Fantastic Four game with other people in it. The more I think about it. Okay. Reed Richards is a very smart man, but in this movie he is fucking tested to his nuts, trying to find a solution to the problem of Galactus. And this is just something so far out of his reach that he just loses his mind. Because this is a Reed who is still grieving over the fact that he did this to his best friend. He's still grieving that he could have known that there was a cosmic wave and he could have stopped his friend from being this thing. And Ben has to assure him, like, hey man, stop beating yourself up. He has to tackle with the consequence of, he is letting the world die by keeping his baby. And even though he says, like, at one point, oh, their solution is logical, giving up the baby or whatever, to Galactus, because he wants the baby. That's what it is. He doesn't seem happy about it, like when saying it. Like he understands the logic in it, and it's beating himself up that he can't find a better solution. And it's just hurting him from the inside because he is meant to be the smartest man alive. And I think this is the first time he's ever been faced with something he doesn't fully know. He cannot comprehend the galactic horrors of a man who literally outdates the universe itself. That is like a crazy concept for anyone to come into. But for Reed, at this time, where he isn't like peak, he's not peak 616 Reed who already knows everything. No, this is a newer Reed trying to explore the world. His knowledge, he may be one of the smartest people on the planet at the moment, probably is, but there is still so much he hasn't learned about anything and everything. And the fact that he doesn't know something so important, again, it beats himself up. It hurts him. And he is very hurt throughout this movie. And I liked it. Not really, but I enjoyed his struggle as a character, being the smartest, finally met with something he doesn't know. So interesting of a dynamic, and I was, I'm, I liked it, Yeah. And, of course, with my thoughts, I've kind of been saving, I guess, the best for last. And that is Shayla Ball and Galactus. Because holy moly, they were my favorite part, no doubt. As soon as I saw Galactus was gonna be in this, fuck me. I accidentally joined a fucking Discord chat. Holy moly, my bad. Sorry, I got distracted. I didn't get distracted, but I just accidentally joined it. Very sorry. Because this is just my unfiltered raw thoughts on the movie, and I'm trying to be as concise as possible. I'll get with Shayla Ball, because Galactus means a bit to me. This isn't your average Silver Surfer story. She isn't your average Silver Surfer. It's Shayla Ball, not Noran Rad. It's different, I swear. And I kind of enjoyed how it was done. Maybe there could have been a little more done with her turn, because she does turn, because she has to. That is the Silver Surfer story. Maybe because I would have just liked one more scene after, but I think what we got was fine enough, with Johnny understanding her language and understanding what she did to become the Silver Surfer, and then basically saying to her, like, to look into her empathy and see what she's done to all these innocent planets. Listen to the cries of fear of all the people she led Galactus to kill, and it kind of just brings her back to something. And she says a line that's like, leave, maybe you'll learn to forgive yourself. And I think even that line, you're trying to get to imply to the audience, oh yeah, she doesn't care anymore. Sure, she seizes up, but she doesn't care about the people she killed. She's evil. When I saw that, I never thought of that. I thought, when she's saying that, she's almost saying it to herself. Because after that, she runs away. She is trying to live long enough to forgive herself and forget all the atrocities she committed to keep her daughter, to keep her planet alive. It's a very lonely thing, and Johnny uses this to open up her eyes, I guess. So in the final battle, they all have Galactus in a portal, ready to teleport him away, and they just can't. And then she comes in and teleports and hits him back into the portal and gets him away. She makes the sacrifice play. She takes Johnny out of the way and does it because she's trying to save everyone, and she saved him. She understands that what the Fantastic Four are doing in this movie is no different than what she did for her own planet, for her own daughter, their sons. and she gets it and knocks Galactus away. I just I love the average Silver Surfer story in general. A man grappling with thought of saving his own planet, with the destruction of others, being almost awoken from his non-empathetic nature to feel empathy again, to feel remorse, and help take down Galactus in a way. And it's in the comics as well, but, you know, it's different, because no matter what you think, this isn't what this movie is. It's different. It's not your average Fantastic Four story, you know? Alicia Masters isn't blind as much as I want it to be, or even in the movie, and it's not Norrin Rad, it's Shayla Ball, and Galactus isn't just trying to eat the planet, he's trying to get Franklin so he can, you know, transport to somewhere else, and I liked it. I loved all that. And it's not Alicia Masters showing the Silver Surfer the true beauty of the Earth through art and the feelings that evoke, the true feelings of the people, and that awakens his feelings. It's showing the pure, raw terror and grief and anguish that she's caused, opening up her mind to like a what have you done kind of scenario inside of her head. And that's why it's in 858 or whatever it is, I forgot, and not 616. It's trying to be its own thing. It references the comics, but it isn't them. It's its own version of the story. Maybe there are parts of that old one that I like better. Maybe I love what they did here with the movie, because I did. It's just amazing, you know? It's just not your average comic story. And I think that's why revealing so much of this in the trailers takes away, because then you're taken away from people researching, looking up themselves afterwards. Who is Franklin Richards in the comics? Who is Shayla Ball? Who is Galactus? What does he want? It takes away from people's interest in comics, wanting to find out what happened in that original storyline, and I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's on for the people who not only created this, but the original people who put their hearts into making those comic books. The comic books that inspired the stories that made up of this movie. And I don't think that's okay. But Shayla Ball, amazing. VFX, fantastic. She's also very beautiful. And I loved her not only surfing on the air, but when they're going through that chase, literally surfing on like the wormhole that they're using to travel through space, and surfing on the dust around a black hole. It all looked amazing. Oh my god, it was so good. Oh, genuinely, I have so much to say about this movie, and I think I can say it all in this Galactus segment. Because Galactus means a bit to me. LEGO Marvel Superheroes is a game that's very dear to my heart, and I love it very much. And Galactus, that final boss fight, has stuck with me for years, and has made him probably one of my favorite Marvel characters. And I hate how in that original Rise of the Silver Surfer, he's just a fucking cloud. Because god damn it, they were so close. And it's just annoying, because you're a comic book movie. You have a silver man on a surfboard. Why isn't a giant, fantastical spaceman with a horned helmet so hard for you to understand? But this one gets it. And he is portrayed perfectly. His voice, menacing. His eyes, kind of epic. Just fantastic all around. That final battle where he's running through the city and they're just trying their best to stop him, trying their best to just get him away from their sun and away from their planet, because they know they can't defeat him, they just have to get him away. I liked it. I really liked it. I don't know what I can say was off about this movie, but something at some points just felt off to me. And within my heart of hearts, I don't know if I could give this a full 10 out of 10 as much as I want to, because the Fantastic Four, they mean, I guess, a bit to me in my heart. But, you know, when I was in there, and I was watching that movie, whenever Galactus, when Shayla Ball, and just the whole Galactus thing, and that went on screen, I got the chance to just be immersed in this thing that I loved. To be immersed in this visual masterpiece. Because sure, that has some faults here and there, but Galactus looked amazing. And, you know, it, like, allowed me to, I guess, travel back to an easier, simpler mindset and forget about things I'd been thinking about my real life, even during that movie. And I think during my viewing of that movie, stuff like that in my head, you know, it bogged me down a bit watching it. But when Galactus got on screen, I just locked in because it made me forget, man. And maybe it'll make you forget too. Maybe you can find a little enjoyment out of this movie, even if you have to turn your brain off to do it. Because it made me feel a part of something bigger. Maybe I was a part of the Fantastic Four's family, like fucking Sue said. I've never been so excited to be a part of a group I wasn't in. You know? I think that's what I love about this movie, because I didn't have to think about what I was thinking about. You know? I don't have to feel bad watching this movie. And then just all that came crashing down when I remembered when the RDJ post-credit scene came in. That was annoying. Very annoying. Because it just reminded me of what's to come, and then reminded me of what's to come. Just, it made all of the negative thoughts I've been feeling, not just about Marvel, but in my life in general, about me, people. But I don't care, because I got to see fucking Galactus in the big screen. And he was the Devourer of Worlds. Exactly as he was in LEGO Marvel Superheroes 1. And exactly how he was in the comics. Maybe not 1-to-1, but it was a version of him that was close enough, and I love that. I've rambled a bit, maybe a bit more than I wanted to, but I mean, ah, I don't think I don't think any of my friends I watch this with would want to actually hear all of this stuff I have to say about the movie. They seemed fine talking to themselves about it. And, uh, you know, people on the internet, people on the internet's negative feelings about my thoughts don't really matter to me as much as my friends' feelings, so yeah, I'd rather do all this. Yeah. So, really, Fantastic Four is utterly fantastic. And if this fucking big ass video isn't enough for you to tell how much I just loved this movie. Just watch it, and maybe you'll feel part of something bigger too. Maybe you'll get something out of this. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll dislike it. But don't hate on me for liking something because of how much it means to my past or myself or how nostalgic I am for things. I'm allowed to like things. Everyone's allowed to like things. Everyone's allowed to criticize everyone for liking things. but I hope you understand why I loved Fantastic Four First Steps. And I definitely think this movie deserves the rating of